Hello, Lisbeth. How are you? I'm really glad to see you and talk to you. It's been a minute, and I've seen you a little bit more active recently, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need to have Lisbeth on my show and introduce you to my world and my audience and my group, because you have some really next level magic that you are sharing with the world. And I couldn't be more thrilled to be face to face with you right now. And to give the audience a little bit of understanding background about you and we met, I believe in like one of Amanda Francis's groups. And I remember just, we vibe for sure, like just like a house on fire. And I remember you were coming out to LA to do one of Amanda's like original, like that was one of her first or second things. What was it like where she would do it? Yeah, live things. And I said, come and stay with me in Santa Monica. And you did, and we just had such a good time driving around with the top down, and had that fun meal together where we were just all about manifestation and magic and miracles, and we certainly did experience a lot. And I really loved getting to know a little bit more about you, your background, what you are bringing into the world, and I would love for you to share with my audience some of your journey and what you are doing and how you came to be a manifestation coach.
Perfect. Well, yeah, I want to say that was 2017. Thank you so much for the gift of staying with you. I mean, I just remember being in the lobby of the Beverly Hills Hotel with this Amanda Francis character and with all these, it was kind of like, do I really belong up in this grill? And it's like, okay. So, it's such a journey. We were just talking about how, the heroine's journey, whatever label you want to give this thing called life on Earth side is such an incredible experience if we are open to and allow and believe in this idea that like legit we are created with the same fairy dust that makes up the entire universe. Everything that's in the plants is in us. And it's like, we're such magnificent beings. And along the way, because of the patriarchy and the conditioning, we forget who we are. And it's like, it literally takes unwinding all of the BS, all of the stories, all of the lies. And typically, it seems like the undoing happens for most people after a crisis, or, the shit really hits the fan. Like, let's say COVID, like, okay, this has put a light on all of the darkness. And so it's awesome because the things that really matter are very apparent. It's like, holy crap. Okay, let's get to work, whatever. So oh man, I have lived many lives.
Right.
And as a professional, I have been a registered nurse for 23 years. And before I became a nurse, my degree is in like exercise physiology. I've been a fitness guru nut like my whole life. And there's never been a time in my life where I wasn't physically active. It's part of I'm a Taurus, it's in my DNA. It's just
you're a Taurus. I didn't know.
It's just part of my DNA. So like, unlike Oprah, who hates to exercise, like it's not even like, I feel for people who it's not in your DNA, because like I don't know what that would be like.
Right.
It would be hard.
I'm the same. I mean, if I'm not moving my body a lot, right? I'm confused and I'm grumpy and not happy.
Exactly. Totally. So anyway, I was like, oh, well, what do I really want to do with my life? And it's like, everybody in my family is a doctor or a nurse. And it's like, oh, well, just go to nursing school. It'll be easy. Anyway, I've had an incredible career. And in 2019, I left my day job because since I was 4 years old, I saw visions of myself being a coach for women to help women. There's a Chinese proverb that says, attention is who you think you should be, whatever, I'm not paraphrasing exactly, but like in ease and peace, it's like who you are. And I feel like my role on the earth side is I'm just a guide for women to remember to acknowledge that this whole, like the pressure and the anxiety is is their false self, who they're identifying with. And I just help them look in the mirror and connect with their true self, which is always here. It's just covered up by all the dirt and the lies and the blah blah blah, right? So
Right.
it's just and I have had to do so much work because I have always felt like I didn't fit in. Is the dog
Yay.
okay?
Is he okay?
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, he's missing a toenail. Okay. So yeah, right before we went live in the group here, we had a little dog situation happening that was happened out of the blue. So that was my friend saying that he's okay. And I do want to say, anybody who's watching live or in the comments or in the replay, put in the comments any questions. You'll see me looking over to this direction periodically, and that's because I have the Facebook Live going here. I'm talking to Lisbeth via Zoom, but if you have any questions, ask them in the comments, and then I will bring them up to Lisbeth. And so also let's get our audience up to speed with, because not everybody who is in this particular group is necessarily all that. They don't know me necessarily as like a magic person, somebody who performs magic, lives magic, and does a lot of the spiritual work. And you're saying, okay, we're on Earth side. Where would you come in on this conversation to talk to people about like spiritual manifestation, how you went from being a nurse to teaching magic, basically?
So here's the funny thing about spirituality is that I grew up going to church. I was actually heavily involved in my church as an adult up until, I don't know, 8 years ago. And yes, I believed in something greater, and maybe I'd pray once in a while, but I did not actually feel connected to something bigger until about, let's see, what are we in 2021? Not until, honestly, Gina, like 4 years ago.
Right about when we met and started following similar teachers online. And can you speak to that a little bit about, because I think it's really, really part of the whole process and journey that a lot of people experience, where you talked about the false self. There's a persona that we learn to adopt at a very early age, whether it's through religious training, familial family training, cultural training, conditioning, all of that, where we actually let go of we distance ourselves from our true inner being in order to stay safe. I mean, we do it to stay safe. It serves us at a time. And what so many people are experiencing now is relationship trauma, abuse, and very, very challenging experiences in life, because they know that there's something different for them, but it's hard to allow that ego to unravel so that they can get down to their true self.
So again, like we were talking about in the beginning, like this is a journey, and these people who are promising you, like, in 3 weeks, you're gonna like somehow, no, like this is a lifelong journey of unwinding, of relearning like who you are at your core. And so this feeling of connection really started happening for me when I would get outside. Like if you want to connect with something greater, literally take off your shoes, walk outside and put your feet on the earth, because the earth has an electromagnetic field, and it's when you take your shoes off and you go into the dirt and the grass and to the water, you are on an energetic level plugging in to the magnificence of the earth, of the nature. and it physiologically changes your chemistry. It allows you to feel, it allows the part of your nervous system that says it's okay to relax to actually just let go just a little bit. And so over time, I mean, it literally, because in large bodies of water, you love the water too. Like I go to my lake every day. Large bodies of water have something called negative ions. All that is an electrical charge, just like salt lamps have tons of negative ions. And so the reason people feel great at a large body of water, because it's, again, changing your chemistry, your physiology. Negative ions help you just, okay, like let's just, it's going to be okay. And when you start to immerse yourself just in nature on a regular basis, you will start to feel what's called resonance or coherence, because we are energetic beings. And so we're picking up on that. And so, yes, people have had truckloads of trauma. And my message is, we live in a both and world. You can be absolutely devastated, and be, and your heart can break into a million little pieces more than once. And you can also carve out space to have hope, even if it's just for 3 minutes. And when you can sort of get behind this idea of a both and, because I lived my whole life, Gina, believing that shit is black or white. You're either happy or you're not. You're either rigid or you're not. It's like, wait a minute. There's a lot more to our physical vessel than you can see.
Yes.
And so that's why when you get in nature, you start to be able to access the parts of yourself that you can't see, but maybe you notice. Because when you are in nature, whatever is going on, you could have the worst day of your life, and with time and being open, it's like you are opening the channel to receive, to allow the goodness. Because honestly, we are addicted to our limitations. We are addicted to the trauma. Everybody,
and drama, yeah.
Everybody's talking about the trauma and the drama, and I would never like want to give the impression that it's not important, that it's not part of the situation. However, you know, the rear view mirror is to see how far you've come, not to focus on all the trauma, like all the time, because that will only get you so far. We have to come to a place of forgiveness, because it doesn't matter what somebody has done to you. Like, the trauma is done. It is how you relate to the trauma. If you can forgive the person for what they did to you, you are not condoning the behavior. You're not condoning what they did, the trauma. You are creating energetic, physical, physiological space for you to be able to heal. That is the only portal to healing.
The only.
It's
Agreed.
the only. And it's not, and people get so caught up in this, like, well, you know, that's easy for you to say. Listen, I have had plenty of trauma in my life, and I had to decide, do I want to stay stuck in this cycle, or do I want to forgive myself? We all need to forgive ourselves for lots of things.
Absolutely.
And so
Constantly.
it's like, right? It's like, what if, let's get our imagination involved, which is a huge part of the manifestation process. What if I could actually heal? What if I actually forgive that act? I don't condone it, or
right. A lot of people do get hung up. They're like, but it's not okay, but it's not okay. And if I forgive it, they're going to keep doing it. And
now that's a whole different overshow. Boundary, like, you forgive and you lock in the boundaries, because here, like, the way someone treats you is because you're giving them a script that says, oh, you're right, I'm a doormat. Oh, you're right, you can walk all over me. And the people that benefit the most from people that don't have boundaries are the people who are benefiting. And when you start to erect the boundaries, those people get real pissed.
Yeah, they get really angry, and it's really hard. And I want people to not mistake the way that we're conversing about this for victim blaming or shaming. That's not it at all.
No.
Because people will go, yeah, they will reach a point, and you and I are big fans of the 4 agreements, right? When you allow people to abuse you to the exact spot that you abuse yourself.
Yep.
So when you there's nothing you actually need to do to stop anybody from abusing you except for love yourself more. And when you start to turn in your forgiveness, you do all the work to love yourself more, to little to big things to take care of yourself. Those people go away, or they meet you at this new boundary level of this is what I'm available for. It's such magical work.
And I want to say, like, I come across as a very confident, very competent, very assertive person. And I too, like, listen, I left my first husband when my son was 3 weeks old, okay? Because I decided that I will not, it's amazing when you become a mother, what you will put up with for yourself and allow to be treated, but come hell or high water, you will not.
Right.
So I understand, and I've had to do, I have felt like I was completely worthless. I have felt like what I wanted didn't matter. So like I've been there. And so I'm just proof that you can, if you decide, you have to decide that the pain of changing has to be less than the pain of staying where you are. And it takes, everybody's on a different path. For me, I have a very narrow tolerance for people treating me. I worked for a doctor for 8 months. He was a complete ass. I was like, I will not be treated like this. I'm out. And like, yeah.
And talk about the little bit of magic that happens when you do establish a boundary and you cut away those energies and you just say no, because this is so powerful when you say, nope, I'm not doing this, where you're like, people might be afraid, but how will I survive? How will I earn a paycheck? How will I feed my children? And I know.
I want the people listening to this, if you are simply surviving, like I see all of you. Like I see you. I have been where you are, and I'm here to be proof and evidence to you that the way that you train for a marathon is literally one step at a time. The way that you get from survival to thriving is one decision, one step at a time, and so again, this doesn't happen overnight, but you have to like take a step back from yourself and ask yourself, and if you are a mother, for the love of all that is holy, do it for your kids and also do it for yourself, because kids listen to what we do, not what we say.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to get really clear, and you have to ask yourself, do I like the situation I'm in? No. Do I want it to be different? Yes. Do I think it's possible? I don't know. Cool. Like, that's perfect. That's you have clarity on what it is that you want. And so with time, you start to take baby steps, and then you say no, and that's a complete sentence. And you don't need to say, let me say, oh, how about you want to come to this party with me? You don't need to say, no, I'm doing this, and this. You say, no, thank you. And you take a deep breath, and you wait for something to blow up. And you're like, oh my God, I actually did that. And like nobody died. Like,
yeah.
Okay. And so it's literally baby steps. I mean, it's one decision at a time. And so, maybe start with the things that aren't as threatening first, and then slowly build it. But it literally it's one decision at the time, because here's the thing about the magic in the universe. The universe is literally like, think of your favorite luxury store. I think of Nordstroms. Okay. The universe is Nordstroms on steroids. They're literally, listen, all of the people that are watching this, the universe is literally like this. They're standing by for your order.
Waiting to take your order. What do you want?
Yeah. Like
Yes.
Do you want the crystal chandelier, or do you want this other one that has bottles on it? Or do you want like 600 thread count, or do you want 300? Do you want the red or the blue? Like, the universe is waiting for you, and the universe always takes the path of least resistance. So I would love to share very simply 3 different aspects of manifestation that are so practical, that will blow your mind, that are one more extra step that goes with the thing that everybody's going to get. This is the workbook that we're sending out.
Yay, everybody. Lisbeth is sharing this workbook, Manifestation Made Simple.
Because
With
I want
everybody here who wants one.
Yeah, I want you to know this. Even if right now you're just surviving, you're just getting by, this is waiting for you. This is an option if you so decide. Like, you can decide. It's totally up to you. And if you need to stay where you are for a little while longer, hey, that's freaking cool. Like, you do you, you know.
Well, everybody's journey is just so unique, right? And what I love too, when I was having a conversation with a guy the other day, and he's like, but things aren't happening fast enough to save the world and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'm not going to try and change your belief system here, but I know that you don't. I said, do you want that to be true? And he's like, well, no, but it is. And I said, okay, are you willing? This is a step that a lot of people, well, I don't believe it, but are you willing to believe? And just being willing to believe, you can still acknowledge, I don't know how, but I'd like to.
Yeah.
And this is probably exactly where your handbook can help that willingness and take it to the next step. It's all about following the breadcrumbs, right?
It's totally about following the breadcrumbs. And I'm so glad you brought this up, because I want, if you're watching live, grab a pen or a pencil, because I want you to write down 3 very simple things. 3 is like one of my angel numbers, and 3, you can remember 3 of anything. It's very easy to remember.
We can do 3.
The trifecta. So I want you to write down these 3 questions, because if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling like this ain't for me, you need to write these down, because they will come in handy. So the first one is,
She's bossy. This is a bossy one, isn't it?
Would it be nice? That's the first prompt. Wouldn't it be nice? I mean, wouldn't it be nice if I actually felt at ease in my body when I was around that person who pushes my boundaries? Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice to afford like 600 thread count sheets? Like,
wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to know I'm in a loving, safe, joyful, happy, sexy, hot relationship with a fabulous human being?
Wouldn't it be so nice?
Yes. Wouldn't that be so nice? And when you start with this relationship,
yes. The second one is
number 2.
When I trust the process.
That's a hard one. When
I do trust, though, it's easy.
Yes, it's hard.
When I trust the process, it's easy.
When
I trust the process, everything is in flow. When I trust the process, I don't get frustrated or derailed or whatever. Like, you could fill in the blanks. And the last one, what I know for sure. The sun always comes up every day. The sun always sets every day. Like, so those are really powerful, because then it's sort of like tapping, right? EFT, emotional freedom technique. You first start with, no matter what, I love myself and I trust myself. And you start with all the stress affirmations. And then eventually you're going, well, hell, I've done this before and everything was fine. It's you're literally reprogramming your subconscious.
Yeah.
What I know for sure. I have a dry chair right now. I have clothes on my back.
Okay, so what is this process that you're doing here? What I know for sure, you're bringing
So all these
yourself into the
prompts,
present moment.
all these words is allowing you to imagine something. It's allowing your imagination to take you somewhere that maybe you haven't been before, because again, when you are operating, your operating system is your mind, and you're on a track of despair and poor boundaries and the trauma.
And that's the programming, the conditioning, right.
Your mind, here's a crazy thing about science. Your brain, even when we want to change, Gina, even when we want to go big, your mind always, every single time, prefers what's familiar. That is why it's hard to get out of the trauma response and to get out of relationships, because even though we don't want to be in this relationship, our mind will keep us there, because it's like, oh, no, you're not ready for this. It will have you downing everything in the kitchen sink. So if you know this, you can say, hey, I got you.
And that's where I think most people, we've been conditioned to shut off our heart, shut off our intuition. Yeah. And I see it like our brains are designed and wired to keep us alive.
Yep, safety, period.
Our heart is designed to seek happiness and joy. What is your particular happiness, you know? And when we turn down, you know, we get into, like you were saying earlier, allow our bodies to get into the vibration, attuned to the frequency of the universe, the power of the universe, where it's natural flow, ebbs and flows and all of that, then we raise our vibration and we feel safe enough. And even if we do it for glimpses of a day, little bits of time each day, we start to allow those walls of resistance to melt away, and our heart can start to speak to us. This is where I think people access the magical receiving frequency. The inspiration, guidance, everything.
Well, that's going to be something I talk about in the 3 things I share. This spirit told me I needed to share this, because this is like the most powerful books. Well, that's going to be something I talk about in the 3.
I'm getting some comments here, so go ahead.
The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, Debbie Ford.
Oh, Debbie Ford. Yeah, she's a big one.
Of course, Debbie Ford, like this has one of the most powerful exercises I've ever done, a guided visualization about, you know, sitting on a bus with your alter egos, all of them.
Yeah.
And basically, really quickly,
show that book title again so people can see it. The Dark Side
of the Light Chasers.
Reclaiming Your Power, Creativity, Brilliance, and Dreams. Okay, thank you for that.
Tons of case studies. Like, this is phenomenal.
So what is the practice? You said she had a really amazing life-changing activity in there.
So there's a guided visualization. Basically, you get on the bus with all of your shadow sides, your shadow selves, the parts of you that you wish weren't there. And bottom line is, anytime you have an awareness, there's some part of yourself that you're like disgusted with, or somebody in your vortex is doing something that you don't like, the best journey to expansion is compassion. Compassion, 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 and forgiveness. And I'm going to talk about what happens in your organic heart and your brain when you have compassion. It's crazy. Good. So, okay, so I want to talk about 3 very simple things. These are all in your workbook, but these are like 3 things that you can do right now. And it jogged my memory when you were talking about the guy who said, I'm trying to get everything I wanted 20 minutes ago. We all want everything last night, because everything is drive-through 24/7. And Amazon, like, okay. So 3 things. We talked about the 3 prompts, and those are really to activate your imagination, which essentially, when you're activating your imagination, you are activating your organic heart.
Right.
Which is the best way to amplify manifestation every day, all the time.
Absolutely.
accessing the heart. Okay, so 3 things we're going to talk about. So the first one is focus. The second one is emotion. And the third thing is energy. Now, this all has to do with manifestation, and wherever you are in your life, this will absolutely change your life. So very quickly, 3 of the most common things that people stumble on, whether you're a brand new baby manifestor or you have been manifesting for years. The first thing, focus. Well, and I love Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, the teachings of this entity called Abraham, which is very powerful information, is everything has polarity. That means there's dark and there's light. There's your desire and the opposite of your desire.
What you want, what you don't want.
Right?
2 ends of the stick, she says,
So
right?
there's 2 things to everything. And so in terms of your focus, again, because we're humans having a human experience, well, what do we do? Because again, the brain will always stick to what it knows, what's familiar. It'll always go to that track, even when you're trying to lay down a new track. It's like no. So, well, what happens? You want something. You want you want your twin flame. You want your fantasy partner. What you want a baby, whatever it is. Well, what happens? You keep thinking about the lack of it. What? So that sucks. And then the other thing that we do, let me make sure I look at my notes, because this was like channeled information that I just got. Yeah. Okay, here's the other thing that trips up everybody. Have you ever said, or anybody in the audience that's watching or on team replay, have you ever said, well, Gina, I will believe that when I see it? Have you ever said that? Well, guess what? For manifestation to work, first you have to believe it without seeing it with your naked eye. Well, what? No.
Faith is believing it without the evidence that it's happening.
Right?
You create that evidence.
So this is not something that you are ever taught. Never, ever, never, ever. And so this is what I want you to do. I want you to become a freaking movie producer. This is how you are going to change your life. You are going to think of the one thing that you want. This is where the focus comes in. You want to think of the one thing. So let's say you want to find somebody that meets all your criteria for your soulmate, right? So what you do is you invoke your imagination, and this helps your focus. So you create 3 very specific, detailed vignettes or scenes of you and your manifestation already being done. Okay, so let's say the 3 scenes would be, okay, so you're on a dating app and your first scene is Johnny Boy is like, send you this message, this private message. And it's like, why, hello, Gina. Like your eyes just totally got me. And it's a vibe, it's a message. And so the scene is you're literally seeing yourself read this message on this app on your phone. And you're getting all like, okay, you're getting this. So that's the first scene.
Johnny. Oh, I like it.
And then the second scene is he comes to pick you up. And the way that he opens the door for you, and then you get in he like opens the door for you, get in the car, and he does something, whether it's like he locks eyes with you and you are just like, it whatever the action is, it means a lot to you.
Right.
And so that is your second scene. He's picking you up and you're like, okay, there's something going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And then your third scene is, let's say your son is playing rugby and you're at the game and he is like, Johnny Boy is like going with the pom-poms, and he's like totally supporting your son.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you feel the feeling? It is like 3 very simple scenes.
Oh my God. He's like, hold my Starbucks. He's about to score a goal here. Like, hold my Starbucks. I've got to be involved here.
Yeah.
I just felt that. I'm sorry, but because that's a dream for me, like to have a man in my life who's like, got my kids.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting full all over the body.
Oh,
okay. You
I
feel
dig
the
that.
power of this? And this took like three seconds.
Yes.
The
Yes.
reason this one thing is so very powerful is 2 reasons. Your subconscious mind only knows the language of metaphors and archetypes. So what you are doing is you are telling your subconscious what the truth is, because the subconscious will believe whatever you tell it. And because you're doing it in a vignette and a picture and a movie, it's impossible for it not to manifest.
And it's you're calling in your physical emotion,
your emotional response.
Your emotion, yeah, and the physiological response. Like, I just did that. I just went there with you.
Yes.
You said a couple things, but it tapped into, because you channeled it. It tapped into a truth within me, a desire within me, because you and I are whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, hold my coffee. He's about to score whatever in rugby. And
yes,
that just happened. And I'm feeling the feelings in my body.
Okay, so that's like, if that's not enough, here's the other thing that's why it's so powerful is, can't you see now, literally, figuratively, metaphorically, you could totally believe that this is possible because you're rehearsing it. You have to rehearse for what
rehearse
you
your
want
future memories. Absolutely.
Because
absolutely,
not everybody is visual. But if you take one desire, like it could be you want to feel stronger. I talk about this in one of my courses. You want to feel stronger. So here are the 3 scenes very quickly. You are running down the street in your badass flashy orange running shorts that make you feel like a queen, and you're blasting your favorite playlist on Spotify in your ears, and you're just like, you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
And then that's the first scene. And then the second scene is you and your bestie go to register for a 5K race, the first one you've ever done. And the vibe and energy, you get the swag, this water bottle that has like this orange badass logo on it, and it matches your favorite shorts. So you guys are like, you're like high-fiving and you're feeling so good. And then the third scene, you and your bestie are freaking going across the finish line. And not only did you finish, but you got like a personal best. And you're just like, oh my God, I did it. Yeah, high five. So do you see how it only takes like 2 minutes?
Yes.
And the results are energetically off the chain. So I know everyone that's watching this or the replay is like, oh my God, I can't wait to be my own movie producer, because
Annette on here, Annette is saying this video is fire. Annette, thank you. Yes. And
like, it doesn't matter what it is, like your work, your money, your honey, your baby. Right? I mean, this applies to everything.
And I know this is speaking directly to Annette's heart, because she's also a master manifestor. Okay, so she's feeling this.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Okay, so the first word is focus. The second word is emotion. Okay, let me make sure I get my notes, because I don't want to miss something. Okay, so another pitfall, right? Not trusting the process and trying to micromanage the when and the how. Okay, especially for us recovering perfectionists. Anybody in here?
Yeah, right. Not me. I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm a black and white person. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. That's what I used to be. Okay. I used to be like, the architect would plan our changes in our house, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I can't conceive of that. Huh? I'm recovering from that. From the, it has to be physical to be real.
Yeah, totally. Again, like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Surrendering to the power. Go ahead.
Okay, so the reason this never works, because remember, we said this earlier, the universe always follows the path of least resistance. So when you're trying to micromanage all the things, you're essentially blocking the thing that you desire. And so again,
Yeah.
if you keep focusing your movie, if you keep focusing on your movie, that helps. But another way is all you got to do is pay attention to your emotions. Emotions is like a code word for energy and
Yes.
motion. It's like the GPS to your soul, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard that. Well, just like for every desire, there's either you have it or it's the lack of it. It's the absence of it. And so anytime you're feeling an emotion that's angsty, anxious, pissed off, frustrated, sad, despair, blah, 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 that's an indicator or hashtag you're blocking or you're resisting what Nordstroms is trying to send you on the conveyor belt right now to your house.
I love your Nordstrom's analogy because 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I went to Nordstrom's with my girlfriend and I was specifically looking for something like this. And it was literally in Nordstrom's.
Of course it was. You can't make this stuff up. Hashtag synergy.
And I love it. Okay.
Okay. And when you're feeling like sexy and motivated and proud and like compassionate and hopeful and joyful and bliss and ease and blah, 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 blah. Well, that is like a bat signal to Nordstroms. You are allowing. But again, human conditioning, even if you want something to be different, we prefer what's familiar, which is the want, my life is horrible, this will never work, want. So when you notice that you're in the position of resisting, do those prompts. Wouldn't it be nice if I wasn't resisting?
Yeah.
When I trust the process, I know that this or something better is already on its way to me. Because didn't you see my movie earlier? Like
right
on the sidelines.
Starbucks.
Oh my God. Okay. Let me see. Okay, that's that. Okay, perfect. Okay, now the third thing is energy. So we talked about focus. We talked about your movie. It will change your life if that's the only thing you do. Yeah.
I want to point out fun, like the when you can suspend disbelief and just say, wouldn't it be nice? That's just a really nice way of saying this doesn't have to be heavy work. It doesn't, I can't get it. Like, oh wait, I don't want to get this wrong.
Yes.
You're giving permission to say, okay, I don't know how this is going to work. This seems crazy, but you know what? I'm just going to play with this and say, well, yeah, wouldn't it be nice? And when you take that pressure off, it gets you out of your head and like, oh yeah, that would be nice. That would be fun. And so I just want people to understand this gets to be fun, and fun is actually the fast track. Okay. So carry on.
And that's the beautiful thing about becoming your own movie director. Like, listen, as soon as we start paying a mortgage, adulting, going to the grocery store, preparing meals, we do not engage our imagination. We just don't. And so when you leverage that manifestation tool, it's like once you start doing it, and then again, like you can play around with your scenes and maybe wait till they manifest, or like change it up, whatever, but you will start to see how powerful your imagination is when it's like you snooze, you lose. If you don't use this muscle, you're going to lose it. And so your soul is like, damn, where you been all my life?
Right? It's all dried up and you need to just pour a little magic juice in there and then life gets juicy.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, you said something. Okay, carry on, because
you just
said some. Yes.
It'll come back. Okay, so the third thing is energy. Like we already talked about, emotions are energy and motion. Energy, E equals MC squared. Like anything that's living is called energy. Your broccoli is energy. This water is energy. This crystal is energy. This hair is energy. You are energy, which means anything that's energetic, is transmitting a signal. Okay, so like you are legit a bat signal to Nordstroms. Okay.
Yep.
And so you were always emitting a certain frequency, a certain signal. And if you've ever heard about this thing called the law of attraction, all that means is things of a like nature are attracted to it. Okay, so It's literally your energetic state is like a boomerang. If you're putting out want, want, you're going to get back want, want. If you're putting out, oh my God, I can have everything and the kitchen sink from Nordstroms. That's what you're going to get. Okay. You have to actually believe it's possible, right? So do your scenes or whatever. Here's the incredible thing about the power that you have right now pulsing through your veins. Okay. We're going to talk about the organic heart. The heart has a very powerful field. And okay, so let's everybody put your hands on your heart, close your eyes. Okay, I want you to just pay attention to whatever's beneath your feet, you know, really feel your connection to the chair you're sitting on. And I want you to imagine every single person that's watching this live and who's watching the replay, we are all totally like sitting in a circle and our elbows are elbow to elbow. And just like take a deep breath. Exhale, release. One more breath. Exhale, release. And if you want to take it one step further, you can imagine like this huge golden lights, like just pulsing through your veins and your heart. And this big, huge gold ball is like over the top of our whole circle. I mean, if you want to go even further, you can open your crown and just let this light just pour into the top of your crown, going through your spine, all the way out your feet, into the center of the earth. I mean, just feel this power, this grounding life force energy. Ooh, baby. One more deep breath. Beautiful. So coming back into your body, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, maybe do a little ear to the shoulder, circle your head down. And then if your eyes are closed, you can open them. So there's this thing called, well, let me just ask everybody this. Have you ever said out loud or thought to yourself, God, I resonate with that so much. Like that is like, well, what the hell does that mean? Well, because everything is a signal, everything is like emitting like a radio wave. You know, maybe you've seen or heard of an ultrasound, like radio waves, right? Audio waves. And so we're all connected. We are all connected. And if you really went there, you might have felt like we were literally all in this circle. And when we have resonance, what that means is that there is synchrony. Waveforms sync up together. If you have ever heard of this stuff called heart math, basically there's something called heart rate variability. And basically, you know, your heart is both a pump and it has electricity. And when you do things like meditate and you go into nature, your heart rate variability syncs up, it gets synchronous. Well, when things are in synchrony, guess what? They have harmony. Well, when you have an emotion of compassion, joy, fulfillment, pride, whatever that, you're actually creating this resonance in your organic heart. And your organic heart actually sends messages to your brain, more messages than your brain sends to your heart. So what happens when you're in this state, Gina, is that you are able to access higher levels of consciousness, which is code for you can solve problems way easier. And on a physiological level, it tells the part of your nervous system, you know what? It's okay to like let your butt cheeks like relax, let your belly be soft. Mm-hmm. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. And when you have that in your own body, guess what? You send it to everybody around you. So this is why I say mm-hmm. The way to heal the world is to heal yourself. When you heal, everybody in your lineage, everybody in your family, the people that came before you, the people that are coming after you are healing because of this resonance. Yep. So, and again, when your heart is like the bat line to Nordstroms on steroids. So when you can get, and then I want to end with this, you have energy centers in your body. There's a Sanskrit word called chakras. It means spinning wheel. Everybody has them. You can't really see them, but you can feel them maybe if you're out of wonk or out of balance. Your hands, everybody look at your hands. Your hands both have chakras in them. Your hand chakras are an extension of your heart. So anytime you feel like incensed or out of whack, put your hands on your heart and just give yourself the light, the love, the compassion, and that you can shift your whole entire being that quickly. That's it. That's all I have.
That's amazing. And I have to say, I absolutely felt so much energy. We just did this. I felt the energy in my body, like just, I felt very, very powerful, strong energy, and it felt really, really good. And one of the things that's so powerful about what you're sharing with us is that we can shift our outside world just by doing this inner work. And as I heal the world around me. I raise the vibration of my physical environment, but also all that stuff we can't see. And this is why, like, this work is so powerful, and so many women around the world are connecting. Like, we have people from New Zealand, we have people from Missouri, Europe, Slovenia. Hello, Kasenja. And I know we will have people from India later watching, and I know we will have people from Australia, and all around the world watching this, and participating in tribes and communities, online and in real life, more and more and more and more, because the feminine energy, which is the heart energy, is expanding, and we are all affecting everybody in such a powerful way. And this ties in really well with the conversation I had with this man, where he was saying, I just don't think women are getting it fast enough. They're not standing up for themselves fast enough. And what he doesn't understand, and I said, well, that's partly because you're not in these communities and groups. You don't actually witness it yet. And that's when I said to him, are you willing to believe? Are you willing to just believe? Suspend all disbelief and just say, yeah, I'm willing to believe it is happening, because what I know to be true, is this energetic signal we're sending out to and from each other, and to Nordstroms and to the universe, and all of that, is the energy is shifting, and it's like a tsunami. Where tsunami way out in the middle of the ocean, you can't sense it. You can't, with your physical senses, experience it. And it's gaining momentum and gaining momentum and getting so powerful that we're going to bring the energetic balance back, where the masculine energy, there's nothing bad about masculine energy. It's just become out of balance.
And to this guy's point, there's a lot to be said for the feminine expression of power.
Yeah.
Because people don't hear you when you shout or you raise your voice.
Right.
So he can have that projection. He can have his perception. That's his reality, which is perfect. And exactly, we will continue to hold the ladder for all the women to be embodied in this beautiful, feminine, peaceful, calm, because that is absolutely our birthright.
It is absolutely. And feminine energy, feminine power comes through community, communication, and collaboration.
Oh, yes.
Which is why I love having amazing leaders come and be part of this community. And I invite them to share communities, because there is no competition. Feminine energy is not about competition. It's about collaboration. And, a rising tide lifts all the boats. And so when as your tide is lifting, you're lifting all the boats around you. It's like, this is so magical. And I want to share something that Annette shared here, which is about this power of manifestation. And it ties right into what you said about not controlling, not micromanaging, and also the idea of this is a very soft art of like, it's the essence, not the form. So that other part of the controlling, right, is, well, it has to come, like love has to come in the form of a man, or money has to come in the form of this. It's the essence. So Annette said, I just realized that one of my visions of my favorite place is an open home with the breeze blowing through, a vision of the ocean and sun and oven air and breezy. My AC broke last week, and my home has been in open air for almost a full week with the most gorgeous weather to have open windows and doors.
Again, full on angel bumps. Of course. I mean,
Right?
when we are open and aware, and I can't wait. I would love to see people share their vignettes if people are open to that.
Right?
And has been a game changer for me. I learned this from Alita Birch. She's a shaman, and I was like, people need this because you have to get your subconscious on board, or it ain't ever going to happen. And this is the easiest way to get your subconscious to
yes,
say, you know what, it's cool. Okay, cool. We got this.
Let's just make it fun. Let's just make it fun. And when you can make it fun, there's no head about it.
You can teach your children this trick. Like, I mean, hello, we should be teaching this in 3rd grade.
Right. Well, a lot of people are. I mean, part of what's going on with the changing of the world is people are getting on board with unschooling and schooling in alternative ways. My favorite guy, Elon Musk, is, he's like, the education system doesn't do it. So he created a school for his own children. Totally. And so we are changing. The world is changing. Absolutely. And it's in perfect divine timing. Mm-hmm. There's no rush. And the job is tune into your heart's desires. Get that end of the stick of like what you do desire. Mm-hmm. And if you're not sure what you desire, look over here on this side of the stick. Well, what is really the highest contrast and conflict that you're experiencing? And say, but wouldn't it be amazing if this was it? And just, what did you say? What is your word? Wouldn't it be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice if it was like this instead? And just start there. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? And so, Lisbeth, you're going to share. We'll put a link here in the Facebook group, in the comments, and in the video that goes on YouTube, a link to download your 18-page guide of Manifestation Made Simple. Mm-hmm. And I think you had something else, yeah?
And I can't remember which one I'm sharing. It's a meditation. It's a guided meditation, and it is so powerful. It's right up there with the scenes. It's like tapping into your subtle body, your physical body, your imagination, and it's like, okay, let's do this.
Let's do this. Nice. Yay. So you're going to share those things, and then where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah,
all over. We'll put these links, but please share.
So my website is lisbethoverton.com. And then I have a business page. I'll have to put that in the comments. I think it's actually my name.
Yeah, we'll just put that in the link.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll put all the links to find you, and if people want to contact you, they'll be able to. And it's so funny, we really didn't even get to talk much about your journey of being a nurse and then leaving that, and now like what you're doing now. But real quickly, what are you doing now?
So now I am, I have this amazing digital product, 5-minute manifester, that leads people, through these super simple steps to help people learn to manifest. And then my next level, if you want me to you can either done for you or do it with me. It's called Soul Mastery. It's really, I'm teaching my Rich in Spirit roadmap. And so that's what I'm doing now. And I also have a different business, like a consumer medical device. That's kind of separate. But anyway,
Mhm.
that's what I'm doing, and coaching, and just allowing life to be so easy.
It's so fun. And let's not forget, you did manifest an amazing husband after you left that first husband. You have an amazing soulmate husband.
Yes, I
Congratulations.
manifested a spiritual awakening. I had an experience at the lake, and then I also manifested my husband on Match.com. I literally was like, I'm done. And then he's like, wink and wink, wink. I'm like, really? And I was like, I'm very forward. And I was like, I'd like to see you again. And I was like, I'd like to stick my tongue down your throat, but I have a cold. And he's like, wait, what? What? Anyway, we went rollerblading for our first date, and I got to see his feet. I was like, okay, your feet are good. Like, I totally approve. And like, yeah, it was good. It's
Nice.
good. Like, the most support. We were together in a past life, so that's why we get each other.
I love it. That's amazing. Okay, do you have time for one more comment? Somebody,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, who got up early and all the way in New Zealand.
Oh,
Thank
I
you,
love her.
Elizabeth.
Yes.
Yes. She said, when you were talking about tapping, she said, so these help you reimagine your life in a different way, or life in a different way, I think she means. EFT helps to remove that junk, like the negative, like you did brush over EFT, which
Yeah.
I don't know if much of the audience is familiar with it.
Yeah.
And reframe into the places that serve us in a mighty way. Ooh, I like that language.
Yeah.
Ooh, that serves us in a mighty way. The questions 1 to 3 help us to stay on track.
Totally.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So
Yeah.
About tapping, because that's a powerful modality that a lot of people in this audience might, can you like give 2 minutes about like, and then we can also say like, you can look it up and,
Yep. So like I learned tapping from Nick Ortner. He and his sister, actually my husband did a course on tapping for money with me like 100 years ago, which is when I first got into tapping. But anyway, basically you have meridians, you have energy lines running through your body. Tapping is tapping on these energy lines in your body. It's very specific points. You're basically speaking out like, even though I love myself unconditionally,
well, don't you start with like a negative thing, like even though I don't know where the money's coming, I'm really stressed out about money, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent.
You start out with you know, even though I'm like at wit's end, I do not know how I'm going to cope, even though I have no money, this was never going to work, how do I pay my bills? Like you say all the crap.
I'm so stressed. Yeah, get it out.
For yourself 0 to 10, like 0 is you feel great, 10 is like you're about to come undone, and then you keep going and you keep going, and then eventually you say things like, well, I've paid my bills up until now, this will probably be easier. And it's easier in the beginning if you follow a script.
Right.
There's no way you could do it wrong. And it's basically like decluttering the basement. You can't get to the top of the attic without cleaning the crap in the basement.
Right. Yes.
That's kind of how I view EFT.
Thank you so much. And Nick Ortner, like, so he went to, where's that community in Connecticut where they had the big school shooting in elementary school. He went into that community and taught tapping to the parents, and they had absolute transformation. At least that's according to the stories I've read.
Well, yeah, you're
really a thing.
Energy centers, and you're allowing the emotional release to happen.
Yes, you're not invalidating the actual feelings, which is a big part of what I teach women, is like that little girl inside of you, she is mad, she is lonely, she is sad, she's angry, she has all this. Oh, Elizabeth is a practitioner. Thank you.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh my goodness.
Let's have you on.
Elizabeth, be on here. You can be one of my people. The world needs you.
Yes, yeah.
So she probably knows the story. So, but anyway, what was I saying? Oh,
the school, yeah.
One of the things that people don't do is they're pushing down that little girl who's angry, sad, lonely, frustrated, trying to get the attention of whoever. And that's why we end up in these codependent, dysfunctional relationships. When we develop a relationship with her, I love you, I see you, yes, you are sad, then she doesn't have to shout, like you were saying, she doesn't have to shout. She's like, she can just be a little bit more even about things, and then self-sabotage, all that stuff stops. The addictions,
Absolutely.
the healing happens. So thank you so much for being here.
You are so welcome. Like, I feel like we just had a pajama party.
For real. I mean, this has been fun, and we need to talk soon about doing something together, I think.
For sure. For sure.
We're so much fun. We are fun.
I feel sweet. Yes. Thank you so much. And also thank you to your hive, your amazing hive all over the world, wherever you are. Thank you. And please post questions. Tag me though, so I can know that you have a question.
Yeah.
And if you have questions about any of the resources, and also share your vignettes, man. I can't wait to see your movie
share the vision.
Debuts.
Share the vision, because when you share a vision, everybody else we magnify that manifesting power. And it's like, when I tell my clients, like, tell me your vision, because when you share your vision with me, that's how I see you.
Yes.
That's how I see, that's who you are now to me. You're not this person who's struggling in the physical daily world. You are this person. Mm-hmm. So powerful. Share your visions, guys, your vignettes.
Been copious amounts of love, ease,
receiving,
prosperity, magic.